Well, g'day, legends. I'm Jeff Ross, your proud dad, with three amazing boys coming here from the stunning island of Tasmania. I'm the host of the Laptop Lifestyle Dad Show, brought to you in partnership with the Los Angeles Tribune. Our mission here is simple: to help frustrated online marketers, side gig hustlers like you, break free from overwhelm, master AI and social selling, and finally build that business that works for you, not the other way around. A few years ago, I was spinning my wheels, working from home, side hustling, and stuck in what I call Sucksville. I was juggling it all, consistently worried about family moments, missing the family moments, and wondering if I'd ever break free from the grind. Then I discovered the power of storytelling, branding, and yes, even serving others. That's where the shift changed and everything happened for me. And today I'm so excited. I'm as excited as a caffeinated kangaroo bouncing on a trampoline because I get to bring you someone who embodies that same servant-hearted leadership and that approach to life. Steve Ramona. As the host of the podcast Doing Business with a Servant's Heart, Steve is all about helping entrepreneurs build authentic connections and thrive by leading with service. This conversation is going to be jam-packed with practical advice for growing your business, connecting with others in a meaningful way, and finding fulfillment in what you do. So go grab that coffee, tea, or whatever keeps you bouncy around like that caffeinated kangaroo with us, and let's dive in and have a good old chat with Steve Ramona. So Steve, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me, Jeff. Like I told you before the show, I love your logo. I love the concept of your show.
Thank you. Really appreciate you. And it's just my honor to be able to interview you today. And so we connected with through Jake Gledden through the Total Disruption, and we got to know each other through there, and we're both on the LA Tribune Marketing Forum, and one of the big things that I got from you and Danny Walsh was just to ask, those big scary questions that we think that are big and scary, but just to reach out and just do the asking, right? And so off of that, I got into Steve's inbox and straight in, and I asked him if he'd come and interview with us, and here we are. So I appreciate you.
You're welcome. That's a perfect real-time scenario right there, the power of asking.
Yeah.
For both of us, for you and for me, being the opportunity to be a guest on this great show.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. All right, cool. Let's get into it. So I always like to start with a story of where you were at, what I call Sucksville for most people, and where you are now, which is Awesome Town, and some of the highlight milestones that help you to get to where you are at now. And there's always gold in these hero's journey stories, right? And so I'd love to, for our listeners and for me too, a bit selfish, I'd love to get to know your story. So what's your story, Steve?
Well, the power of being a host is we selfishly get to learn. I love that you said that. That makes you a great host starting out. Fantastic.
Appreciate
you. It started at 18. I was going to go play American football. I know you're in Tasmania, so it's the NFL type football. I wasn't going to play in the NFL. I wanted to, but when you're 5'8", you don't make it. And working at a health club at the front desk, I just took a job. My cousin was the president. My family had started it, and I needed a summer job. It turned out to be a 20-year career. But what I learned early at 18, 40, 50, 60-year-olds coming into the gym, I had to say hello. I had to welcome to the gym. What's that mean? I get to build relationships with them. I didn't know I was doing that. But hey, Jeff, welcome. Hey, Jeff, have a great day. Then it became, hey, Jeff, how was your vacation? Hey, Tony, how was your grandbaby? Hey, Jim, you just had a baby. How's your baby doing? Where you're having conversations more than just, hey, hello, and goodbye. Those are great conversations, but when you start having these conversations about kids and how was your Thanksgiving? And I'm sure this week a lot of people are going, hey, how was your Thanksgiving? How was your Thanksgiving? Those lead to getting to know somebody better and building a relationship. We are in the people asset investment business. We need people.
Love that.
What's our best way to, it's you do that so well as I seen in those two events we're a part of. But we need to build those assets like a fight, like money, like an investment tool. We need to build the asset. How do we do that? We uplift them. We bring them value. We serve them. What does that look like? You don't need to give somebody $1 million. If you can, that's fantastic. That's a great way to serve. But you literally, you call your business partner right now while you're listening to this or after and say, hey, thank you for being a great partner.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Simple.
Love that. So simple.
30 seconds. It is simple. Thank you. But here's the problem. A lot of people know that, but they don't take action. That's the big key, is just doing it. I say in my podcast, in my monologue, your call to action as my audience is, after the show, today, I want you to figure out how you're going to serve yourself, serve others, and what impact you can create today. And I'm going to do that right there on the show today, Jeff. Audience, I want you to think about those 3 things and do it today after the show. And reach out to Jeff and say, hey, I listened to your show. I went out and I did this, I did that, I did this. I guarantee you 99.9% you're going to feel good and you're going to smile, but even better, you can make other people smile.
Love that. Love the intentionality of that. And straight away, like, I've asked you to share your story, but you've already come in here and you flipped the script already and you're serving the audience. I love it. I love it how you've taken it away from you and you've made it about the audience. It's brilliant.
Thank you. And thank you for noticing that. That's a tip for everybody listening. We just did real time. When you're a speaking gig, what a great way to speak. Bring value to your audience.
That's brilliant.
You know what? They could care less about you unless you influence them.
Yeah.
Uplift them and value.
Yeah. And for me, that's what I had to learn, how to slow down, these key skill fundamentals of how to meet that heart-to-heart connection. Like, I've been in the game 16 years and very effectively, know how to use paid ads to do like the direct pitch and all of that sort of stuff. And when I transitioned from like a service-based marketing to, relationship building, I totally bombed. I totally sucked at it because I went in too hard for the kiss too soon, so to speak.
Yep.
And, it freaks people out. You make people run for the hills, but they're just slowing it down and focusing on building a relationship, right, and meeting people where they're at. And it doesn't become about sale. It becomes about how can I serve? So you're flipping the script again. I love that. So you're the master in this space, and I really want to get inside your brain because, once again, selfishly, like, I want to ask some questions and learn from the master, but this is all about the audience and how can we transfer that knowledge so our audience can hit the ground running faster. Because I know that, our audience are mums and dads. They're side, gig hustlers and, working from home. And a lot of them get into the space because they're attracted to the opportunity. They're attracted to the products. But then they go, oh, crap. Now I need to learn how to do this thing called marketing. Now I need to learn how to do this thing called sales. Now I need to learn how to do this thing called business. And they're figuring it out for themselves. So, you've been there, you've done it all. What would be some of the top 3 tips that you would have for our listeners to be able to help them to master this servant-hearted leadership, this listening effect, to be able to meet people where they're at?
Those pillars, I think it was 3 or 4 that you put out there. I'm going to say 3 words: people, people, people. It's got to start there, because the 3 pillars, the marketing, the sales, the other things that you mentioned, do not ever happen unless you got a person to bring those services to. We forget about the people. We forget about the people closest to us. We forget about, we need people. Some people need 3 or 4. Some people need 3 or 4,000. It doesn't matter. The more people you meet, the more that opportunity door opens. Remember, when you meet somebody, the door opens, but what does the door do as well? It closes. So you jump and meet somebody and they're not a fit, serve the hell out of them. Excuse my language, but it's not. But you get what I'm saying is, and here's an example. I was like you, audience, and I was like Jeff when you mentioned. Be very transparent here and very humble. I was on a call 5 years ago I was selling a digital business card, and I jumped on with Donnie Boven. He became a guest on my podcast. Very well-known leader in business and community, and I pitched him right from the beginning. He said, whoa, stop. Why are you pitching me? You know nothing about me, whether I need this, whether I want this, whether it's going to fit my needs. And I was blown up.
Wow.
This guy's much younger than me. I was like, what the hell did I just do? And he was so gracious and walked me through some steps. Here's what's better. And he actually coached me a servant's heart. Donnie, if you're listening to this, ever do, God bless you for your servant's heart. And I took that and ran with it and said, you know what? I got to stop that. So I started meeting people, and a quick, great story about people meeting. That's a kind of a cool thing. People meeting.
People meeting.
Let's trademark that. Well, me and Jeff got something. People meeting.
They got it.
So January 2020, I was part of this digital business card company in sales. And I'm like, I got to meet more people. How do I figure this out? Well, I was introduced to this networking group that met like 15 times a week. I went, okay, starting Monday, this is Friday. I'm going to go to 5 meetings a day.
That's going into the deep end.
Diving deep. Here's the ROI on that. In 6 to 8 weeks, I was the number one salesperson in the company. They were like, what are you doing? I met 500 new people. Now, this is very important, audience. They were not all clients. Probably 100 were clients, 20%. But those other 400 gave me about 1,000 referrals.
I love that. One of the very first things I say to our people is just starting out, especially in the network marketing game, is go and have 500 conversations as fast as you can. Don't worry about the result. Just go have the conversations. Because inside that, we can do the little micro training. Like, if you had this conversation, what could you have done different? What could you have done better? You know, this happened. What happened here? And so it's in that action, in that messy, that's where we learn, right?
And I'll add to this. People go to me, they're running the numbers going, 6 to 8 weeks, there's no way you met 500 new people. I've met 500 new people, and probably 300 to 350 were referrals I hadn't met yet, but some of those became clients. So when I say 500 new people, doesn't mean I've met them. That's including referrals. Because I tell entrepreneurs, meet 10 to 15 new people every week. That's your goal. So take a half hour, or, let's just use a half hour for easy number. So that's, if you did 10, that's 5 hours a week, 40-hour week. So that's not even, 10% of your week? But it's a revenue generating. So you meet 10 people, and the next week you got 5 referrals from them. That's 15. You meet 10 people that next week, that's 25 people, and they give you 20 referrals. So now you're at 55, and the numbers start compounding and mushrooming out. I get 3 referrals daily. I could probably look at my email. It's 2:36 Pacific Standard Time right now. I probably have a referral there for my podcast, for my business, or you just need to meet Steve. He's got a servant's heart. He can help you.
Love it.
I probably serve 5 to 10 people a week for free. People go, why aren't you charging? I said, one, it wasn't set up that way. This was not framed as a sales call or as a coaching call. It was framed as get to know each other. But that's the power of a servant's heart. Because when I jump in, my first thought is, how can I make Jeff have the best show ever?
Yeah.
I better have some energy. I better be authentic. I better have some, serve your audience, serve you. I do that with every call I jump on. I met a gentleman, 24 years old, doing quite well. He was actually pitching me. He had a person telephone. They're called setters. They set up an appointment with him. I knew it was going to be a pitch call. And I told him right away, I said, hey, you're this, I know it's all set up. Oh, really? I said, but I'm here to just learn about you. Next thing I know, I'm learning about him. I give him a couple tips. He goes, can I pick your brain? He says, I'm 24, you're 63. You've been around the block. I said, yeah, probably a few times. For 45 minutes, he asked me question and question and question. I gave him golden nuggets. He got off. He says, Steve, I can't believe you did that. I said, by the way, I got another referral for you. I need you. He's like, you just don't stop. I said, no, I'm a fire hose. If I can bring you referrals, now, audience, let's step back. You're not always going to be able to do that. I'm not always able to do that.
Yeah.
I always think about doing that, Jeff, but not able to do it.
Yeah.
Thinking, at least taking action. And that's the other thing. I mentor a lot of podcast hosts, and I've taken some people and walked them through. Jeff, you know this, you've seen it. 3-4 months, they haven't launched their podcast.
Yeah.
And I've spent an hour or two with them.
Yeah.
And audience, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, I guess you call me an expert, and thank you for calling me the master. I'm giving my IP away for free, and you never take action.
Yeah.
And I'm not worried about them taking action. I'm worried about the result they missed. Who have they met in 3 months through their podcast, for example, that could have changed their life, could have grown their business, could have brought revenue to them?
Yep. Look, I've been in the game 16 years, and I've always wanted to start a podcast. I had all the shoulda, coulda, woulda excuses and all of that sort of thing. And this last 6 months, actually it's been not 6 months, July we started. And it's been a brilliant ride. I wish I'd done it sooner. It's that whole, wish I could have done it sooner, that hindsight 2020. And And the amount of doors and the amount of connections and the amount of relationships that are coming off the back is just mind-boggling. But it's not even about, like the sale right now or the money right now. It really is that servant's hearted leader to be able to go and add value and plant seeds. And so this is what I teach as well, is in the customer value journey. Like, a lot of people are going for the sale too soon. And, like you just described, going for the pitch too soon. Let's slow it down. Let's figure it out. Let's ask some questions. Let's connect. And I do a lot of business with, people that I know, like, and trust. And I know a lot of other entrepreneurs who do the same. So let's slow it down and find ways to connect, to relate and resonate. So if you're coming into a conversation, you're meeting someone for the first time, this is more for our listeners and for me too. What are some of the frameworks? What are some of the questions that you use to slow it down, to help people meet them where they're at, to connect with them?
You're a fantastic host. You're leading me to something. My principle, I love it. And this is why I'm so excited to be on the show. I call this the ASLA principle. ASLA. I'll say that again. ASLA. The A is for ask. Ask a question. And if you need help, you're an introvert, have them on your desk before you start the meeting. What's your challenges? I ask that all the time. People go, that's a brilliant question. Because what are you asking? How can I help you? What are your challenges? How can I help you? How long have you been in business? What are you passionate about? Do you have a family? Write those down if you need to, but start asking questions. So you ask, and then you shut up. People go, well, yeah, okay, shut up. That's good. And then you listen. And that's where the bridge breaks down, because they're like, well, I shut up. I'm listening. Are you? Think about your Zoom calls you've been on for business or friends or family. We got the Brady Bunch here in Tasmania. You probably know. Everybody knows that show, all the boxes.
Yeah.
And somebody's box goes black. Now, maybe they're going to the bathroom. Maybe somebody's at the door. Maybe something happened. It's an emergency. But audience, think about this. When they go black and mute, are they really listening? They're not listening if they're going to the bathroom. They're not listening if they're answering the door. And that's a need. I'm not saying they shouldn't, but that's why I say listen. Because a lot of people shut up and do this. If you're watching, they'll look away. They're not listening. And we find that in person.
Yeah.
Or their body language is. So really tightly listen. And when you listen, guess what? The A is ask. Then you get to ask another question. For example, I ask you, Jeff, what's your challenges? And you go, man, I need 20 more new clients. Okay, you have a leads problem. Yeah, I do, man. How about this tip? And this is a great tip for all your audience. Go out to your contact list. Reach out to all the people, you're not your family, your young cousins, but people that you know, because everybody on there, they like or love you, and send them an email. Quick question. Say you work with lawyers. Do you know a good lawyer I could talk to? I'd love an intro.
I love an intro. Simple ask.
So simple. But what are they going to do? They're going to go, Steve, what are you doing now? Oh my God, I started a podcast and I want to get lawyers on my podcast. Oh, I got two friends. My cousin's a lawyer. I had a guy do this and I met him 4 years ago. He was 27 years old. He's the kind of where I learned it. So I forget his name. I wish I could, but he knows he's out there in the universe. That's how he started. He did a flipping home business. He went to his 1,000 contact list, reached out to everybody that was relevant. He got like 20 referrals.
Wow.
And he got more referrals. And some of the people signed up for his course that were friends of his that did not know he was doing it. Well, when I talked to him, it was 2 years later. He was 27 years old. I said, how you doing? You've got to be doing well. He goes, I just hit $1 million this month in income. One month.
In 1 month.
And all he marketed is through his contact list. And remarketed it. 3 months later, hey, by the way, do you know property managers? I'd love an intro. Hey, you know commercial realtors? So you could come up with questions, but it's such a powerful way to, one, tell everybody what you're doing.
Yeah.
2, get referrals. 3, get clients.
Yeah.
I've had people do this and 5 times their income.
Great book that comes to mind from Alan Pease, Questions Are the Answers. And, that's what I've learned how to do the last 10 years is just ask questions to be able to bring out the best answers. And that sounds like exactly what you're doing. But here's where, trying to transfer that skill, the key part that you mentioned there is that listening part. Yeah, that bridge. So I find, not picking on the youth today, I definitely don't want to, condemn or judge anybody, but I find talking to people sort of 25 and under these days, it's really hard to get them to connect and listen because of, for whatever reason, let's call it social media. They're on their screens all the time. That's how they communicate. And, it's very hard to get them to look in you in the eye and hold eye contact. And I've got 3 young boys, 12, 11, and 8. And one of the things that Sarah and I are very heavily focused on is communication skills. And our 12-year-old, I took him to India with me last October with a bunch of other adults, and he could hold a conversation with most adults, no problem. And he's 12. So I want to dig into your wisdom here. What do you think are some tips that we can help people to learn how to be more effective listeners? Adults or kids alike, what are some of the things we can break down here? Because I think that's the key missing part. Is people know how to ask questions, people know how to pitch, they know how to do that, but do they really know how to listen?
First, I love your comment about 25-year-olds. Like I told Ryan, his name is Ryan, the 24-year-old, best opportunity in the world right now. You can start a business with really no money, no time, and you're 25 years old. Stay with that business 10 years, and you make $1 million in 10 years. You're way ahead of the game. So that's the first thing. I'll reach out to Jeff for me. I'm going to throw Jeff not under the bus, but on top of the bus. Hey, reach out to us. I love talking to young men that are like Brian that are motivated because the opportunities. And there are opportunities for 63-year-olds.
Yes.
I just launched a business that's going to do incredibly well at 63. So it's really across the board. But because you have 25, you have 60, 50, 60, 70 years of able to learn, but learn from people like me and you, Jeff. Reach out to us. I'll answer questions like I did with Ryan. Now, the listening part is like the service part. They're 2 tandems. I'm putting my fingers there. They go together, but they need to be practiced. What do we do in sports? We practice before we play a game.
Yeah.
So be intentional, and you used that word earlier, which I love, Jeff. Be intentional with your listening. If you're listening to this show, I want you, the next meeting you go into, just work real hard in your mindset to listen. And the best way to listen is have a pad. I have an iPad I use, or a pad of paper, and start writing notes.
Yeah.
And look down at your notes and go, Jeff, you talked about your 3 kids. I believe you said 11, 9, and 6, and you took them to India. How do you think that's going to help your business when you go to India? Now, I just did real time, listen to what you said, not throw it back at you, but brought it back around to you.
That's it.
You're like, no, it didn't really help my business. Well, you know what? Next time you do that, introduce people to your boy, but go, he may be helping me in my business. Oh my God, Jeff, what is your business? Well, I do this, this, and this. See what I did?
Yeah.
I asked questions, brought in a comment, and be able to bring it around so they
Looking
ask
for those personal connection points where we can relate and resonate. Love it.
Exactly. Leveraging the words. I had a great guest today on my podcast talking about words. And maybe they go, oh my God, can I learn more? Yeah, let's jump on a Zoom call. Here's, and you pass your information and you communicate. It is so incredible. And now I have a superpower doing it, but again, I just do it all the time. So it's easy for me. So you need to practice that. And serving. I tell people, start on Monday. I haven't talked about this in a while, so I'm super excited, Jeff. This is so great. Start Monday and be intentional and serve. But write down somewhere, I served a lady at the grocery store. I put her groceries in the cart. Write down how you felt and how they felt. And every time you serve that week, write that down. Go over all those notes on Friday or Saturday and go, okay, how did all these people feel? Well, they were all pretty happy, which is probably going to happen. How did I feel? And I felt good. Really, that lady was really appreciative with her groceries. I told that lady her baby was beautiful, and she just glowed.
Yeah.
Here's the most important, last and most important question. How did your week change? How was your attitude? How was your emotions? I guarantee you, and I keep saying that, I'm not going to say 100% because I don't believe a lot of things in life, in the world are 100%. But Here's the image, and I did this and you loved it, Jeff. I want your audience to think about Christmas as a 6, 7, 8-year-old. You get up the earliest time that you ever get up because you want to run to the tree and open up that first gift. Mom and dad said, before we get up, open a gift. You open it up and it's a bike. Oh my God, the bike's there. Oh my God. But what do you do as a kid or anybody else? We're so happy we want to give somebody else a gift.
Yeah.
That gift exchange. That's all I do, and all you should do every day. It's just bring gifts to people in whatever form you can bring it.
Love that. It gets you out of your head, brings you into your heart, and it gives that attitude of gratitude. And, I'm coming to mind going deeper here into some of the neuroscience stuff and for what's coming up to the surface for me. Like, everybody talks about the law of attraction. That's cool. I like to go deeper than here, and I actually think it's called the law of vibration. Because when you're operating out of that vibration of love, light, gratitude, then you're going to attract more of that vibration into your life, aren't you? Whereas if you're operating, law of attraction, and if you're operating out of lack and need and all that sort of thing, well, then you're going to attract that vibration. So I don't think the whole law of attraction conversation goes deep enough. And what I've started doing is starting to realize in my layman terms is it's very much that heart of vibration, be that person of love. And, look, I'm an online pastor. I started a church beginning of this year. And, it's about that connection of that community and just meeting people where they're at and, helping them to be light and love in the simple crux of it. I love what you're talking about there.
Yeah, you're a brother from another mother, and I love using that phrase because people go, you say it all the time. But it's true, because I was just talking about filial love, the Greek love of brothership, companionship, not intimate. And I think people get scared of love for two ways in business or, friendship. Like, how could you love Jeff? I just met him. Well, because I feel there's energy there. There's vibration.
There's a heart to heart.
We think alike. But we fear we're being vulnerable. Be vulnerable.
Yes, please.
What's going to happen?
Yeah.
I mean, and you've got mental health and vulnerability's tough, but for most people, ask that person, Jeff, I'd love for you to be a client. I can do this, this, and this for you. And they say, I'm not ready. I can't afford the 10K, but I love you. And so I built that relationship. Hey, I love what you're doing, or I think it's great. Good. You hold on to that. Here's a great tip for all you audience. When you're selling your wares, when they say no, serve them more. Well, you know what, Jeff? I understand that. We'll reach back around. We'll talk more. But I've got an introduction for you. You do this, and this guy, I think, would be a great partner for you. Brilliant. You just drop those barriers. Because when people say no to somebody, they're fearful. Like, I don't want to say no to Steve. I like Steve. I don't want him to be mad at me. It's just a weird feeling, but people do it. That cuts that with a knife right through it.
I just like lots of light bulbs coming off in this conversation, reflecting to other conversations I've had over the last decade. And Bruce is his name, a good friend of mine. He always said whenever you meet someone, you want to make sure that we give them a warm welcome, a memorable experience, and a fond farewell. And it doesn't matter what happens at the end of the conversation. Make sure that they leave with that fond farewell, because that's what's a lasting impression, right? That's what they'll remember.
Yeah. Hey, man, that's perfect. Perfect for this show.
Yeah, love it. So just coming back into serving others, and I feel like part of the roadblocks that I hit all the time with this conversation and helping others to get this. Like you and I, we just get it. Like we live it, we breathe it, we just get it. But trying to transfer that over to other people sometimes, it's a little bit challenging, because you've got to go through it to get it. And I really believe it's an exponential thing, experience things. So, but I want to dive into this a bit deeper, and serving others, it sounds amazing. And, all of our audience think like, this sounds great, loving on others, it's great. But people worry about slowing down their business goals. Like, how can they strike the balance between serving their audience and still achieving that financial and time freedom that they're all striving towards?
The problem with serving, and it's not a problem, the story of serving, and it's probably the wrong word that you'll get when I say this. When we serve, me and you, Jeff, we don't know how, when, or where the ROI is going to come back. The universe, or in my case, God's, God's, I call God's currency, will come back. I just don't know when. But you know what? You meet people, you've got two options. You can be very kind with them and learn about them and help them. Well, actually, three things. Be neutral, don't do anything, and say, hey, it was great to meet you. Or three, be just be mean to them. Just be
What's the heart behind the agenda of the conversation?
Right. So that's how I look at it, is might as well bring them value. And like I said, I'm going to say it again. Every time I look at your logo, it's great. And you had a great comment about that. And it just leads to better relationships. I tell you, if the world adopted a servant heart, things would be so much better. I know it's not going to happen. I don't say this a lot publicly, but I'm going to say it with you because I love you, Jeff, what you're doing.
Appreciate you.
My goal is that 1 million people next year see and hopefully adapt a servant's heart message. I know I'll make some inroads there. And I'm meeting some great people like you. But all of you, if you have a purpose, if you're looking for revenue, here's something to think about that may help you. I could sell Jeff on my $10,000 coaching program today. I just met him today. I was an incredible sales guy. I said the right words, and you sign up and go, yeah, I'm going to do it. Here's $10K. But then I need 5 other people that I've built a relationship with. Hey, it's 4 weeks. We jump on 2 or 3 calls. After the 3rd call, give me a link. I'm ready to go. Man, listen, I'm so excited. Well, Jeff, the one person, may last 6 months. May do the whole year if it's a 10,000 a year program. Does he renew? Maybe. And maybe I build a relationship with him, which I would if I did that. But a lot of people don't when they pitch right away. They want to pitch. It's a numbers game. Pitch Jeff, pitch Steve, pitch Tony. I got him in. I'll find the next one and just filling the conference.
Yep.
Well, when you do it that way, are you going to get many referrals?
No. And
yeah, you made money for the first year. But if I build a relationship with 5 people and they stay with me 3 to 4 years or even 2 to 2 years, let's talk about money. How much more money are you going to make?
Yeah.
But more importantly, how many referrals are you going to get?
Yeah. I love all this. It's what I say, slow it down, focus on the long-term game. And, coming back to, lessons out of the Bible for a second, it's the parable of the sower, isn't it? It's going out and throwing seeds out, not really expecting any of them to grow, but the ones who do grow, nurture, water them, and if you do that enough times, you're going to have a pretty awesome harvest down the road. It's just inevitable. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And that's the way that I like to operate our business. And it sounds like very similar to what you're doing.
Very similar. And Jim Rohn, who's passed away, and RIP, is a great, I don't know him, but I've read his books and seen him on YouTube. He had a phrase similar to that for people that are not with the Bible, is you've got your field with seeds. Well, there's birds going to come and steal your seeds. What seeds are left over, similar to what you're saying, cultivate those. There's birds everywhere trying to take your seeds, but they're not going to take all of them, especially if you're building and cultivating a relationship.
Yeah. Talking about Jim Rohn, a really great book that I read about 10 years ago, actually turned my life around. Seasons of Life. It is a very short read, but it was a very powerful read for me, especially at that time in my life. It was an amazing book.
That's powerful message.
Yeah. Cool. Well, Steve, I could talk underwater with a mouthful of marbles, talk to a deaf dog at the court of a round table with this conversation with you. But I love to, look at wrapping it up. So, mate, you've dropped so much gold, so much wisdom with us today, even in this last 30 minutes. But before we wrap up, are there any other final words of encouragement that you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Super simple. Get better 1% every day. Not 50%, not 80%. Don't say your goal, you made 100,000 this year, and 2025 you're going to make a million, 10 million, maybe even 1 million. Those are dreams, and they're okay to have those dreams, but have goals. But to do those goals, imagine if you started January 1st, because we're coming close to that. Say you take, December off, which, hey, if you're any entrepreneur out there, never take December. Here's a tip, because it's the best month of the year, because guess what?
Yes.
Christmas parties, Thanksgiving, which just happened here in America. How many Christmas parties? I just talked to a guy, he's having 60 people at his Christmas party, my chiropractor. Guess what? He's going to sell his services to them.
Mm-hmm.
And not sell in pitch, but what are you doing now? Oh, man, I built my chiropractic. opportunities are ripe in December. I make more money in December than any other month because of that.
Yeah.
But get a better 1% every day starting January 1st. That's 365%. If you did it every day, let's cut it in half. Let's say it's 150%. Audience, I want you to think about if you grew 150% personally and professionally, would your income grow?
Yeah. Of course it would. Yeah. And I'm just reflecting, 2024 for me has been a year of laying a lot of groundwork, getting a lot of the pipeline down and getting the infrastructure in place. And I feel like, heading into the end of this year, I've achieved that. And 2025 is going to be a pretty awesome year, but not for me personally, but awesome because I get to serve and play in the impact in a much bigger way and play in that purpose-driven space. And that's pretty cool.
Purpose-driven space. Audience, that's one of the best things he said so far. Be in that space.
It's where your heart sings, right? That's where you get to do what you love. Cool. Well,
absolutely.
If for our podcast listeners, they want to connect with Steve, they want to reach out and just, have an awesome conversation with you because you're a pretty genuine stand-up guy. How could they reach out to you and how can they follow your podcast, Doing Business with a Servant Heart?
Yeah, you can search Doing Business Servant's Heart. I think you'll have the link for my podcast on YouTube. You can find me on LinkedIn. I love living there because that's where entrepreneurs should be. It's a business platform, so I like it. I'm there a lot. Or you can just email me at Steve R, my Ramona for Steve R 1961 at gmail.com. Again, Steve R 1961 at gmail.com. And if you have any questions at all, send it to me. I'd love to answer them.
Cool. We'll make sure all those details in the show notes below. So, Steve, thank you for your wisdom and your servant-hearted approach. And I really, really appreciate you. Now, before I wrap up, I always like to close with a bit of a dad joke. It's just part of who I am, simply known as the king of dad jokes. And I want to just quickly share this image here with you. I forgot where it was. I've closed it down whilst I was waiting for you.
Gotta love tech.
Gotta love it. It's here it is. So my friend Dave Barker from church, he's another king of dad jokes. We swap jokes back and forth, and I thought this one was very timely for today's conversation. So, Steve, I'm wondering how I can get my wife the perfect Christmas gift when she already has me. I'm not sure if I can find one better.
I'm going to use that one. That might save me some money. I'm just kidding. I'm going to buy her a gift.
Here's another one for you. So I married my beautiful wife for her looks, just not the ones that she gives me these days.
That's a good one too. Oh my gosh. That's so good.
You're a champion. Thanks, Steve. I really appreciate you. So, legends, if you felt inspired by today's conversation, don't wait to take action. As Steve's already said, go and take action. Go and have that conversation. Go and ask for that referral. And go. What is it? ASL. Ask, shut up, listen, ask. ASLA. There you go. So go do that. And if you want to connect with Steve, make sure that you head over to his podcast, Doing Business with a Servant Heart, and more amazing insights and stories that will help your business to grow and serve your community right there. And while you're at it, make sure you're subscribed to the Laptop Lifestyle Dad Show. We're hosted on the LA Tribune Podcast Network, so you can find us at latpn.com/Jeff-Ross. And if you've got value from today's episode, please don't keep it to yourself. Let's share it with our mates, your business partners, and anyone else you know who needs a little inspiration, practical advice to get out of Sucksville and get into awesome town. Remember, this isn't just about building a business. It's about creating freedom, showing up for your family, and making a lasting impact. Thanks for tuning in to the Laptop Lifestyle Dad Show. And until next time, keep bouncing around like that caffeinated kangaroo, and we'll see you soon.